The Who. Channel 347, you're hallucinating, your citywide, nationwide, citywide, hallucinating state of nations. Channel 347. Um, I, I haven't got much of a clue where this might go. I'm kind of got a few ideas to pick up on because I was kind of reminded the other, apart from I'm going to try and fit in a song in the middle somewhere. I haven't got a clue yet, which will because be totally unrelated. But I was reminded the other day of I had to do this before the sun completely sets. It's on the way out. It was a bit, the light's going. The other day of Cooper, because one of my early videos had quite a lot about Cooper, as in Cooper. Well, actually, the original Cooper for me anyway was the detective in Anton Dett Wilson's Illuminati trilogy, and he hailed from an investigation that went into the realms of the independent state of Fernando. The Illuminati trilogy, which is, it's kind of that's the Illuminati, who are basically the light bearers, those who give you the information. Light, well, sound light, it's the same thing. Illuminati, but the Illuminati are those who well, they're illuminated. It speaks for itself. So they control the illumination, and the illuminated is slightly different, but it's coming from the same family. So to be illuminated, you need to get up to date with the Illuminati for a start. It won't come without understanding what the Illuminati are and the organization of it, because it's not the same as illuminated. Illuminated is well, Illuminati is from the illuminated. Okay, for a reason. It works. Symbolism, light, vision, sound, information. And I was reminded of that was the main reason, but it was another running me, and this is where it's like in, out, in, out. The only thing you ever want to get addicted to, apart from I admit it, there was a couple of things, but the only thing you ever want to get too addicted to is yourself, really. Anything else is don't bother. Don't bother getting addicted to anything except yourself. But once you get addicted to yourself, then all the other addictions drop by, in a manner of speaking. Not quite like that, but it depends on anyway, I wanted to move on because the in out right came with mushrooms, as it would, it's the mushroom story kind of, and it kind of fits together, but there are some unrelated bits that in another life you could probably put together, but you won't get out of it. So on off, and the best way to on off, right, with anything that you find attractive, is rather than go chasing it like a fucking idiot, because you never really get what you want, is wait until it turns up. And that's what they say about the mushrooms will find you, you won't find them. And that happened to me one day at Runnymede, and this is what kind of like, it'll fit together slightly, but not completely. because that's one day. There was one day running me where I had well, they found me a whole bunch right in front of my. It took me 2 seconds to find it in the morning, ready, a whole bunch. For a session, right? So I thought, okay. I didn't know how strong they were or anything really. They weren't Liberties, they were the other one, and I can't remember the name. They got all kind of a bit darker than Liberties and bigger. Anyway, but still, it's you never know quite what you're getting in any pickup because there's different strengths of each location and different hits, and you just never know, right? So it's always gonna anyway. I took them pretty much in the afternoon of the morning of having well, I thought, right, I'm going to do this, right, but I'm going to stay away. But from other things, right, wise, right. So what I did was, and I had the most amazing trip in that. In that trip, several characters came up, and I was all of them. I was talking to myself across my my hovel underneath the oak tree, with 6 characters around, and they were all me, and I was talking. We will have a conversation, right? And again, a long story, but one of them was the detective, because the detective is a key part of folklore, or folklore, and well, they've updated Sherlock. Have you noticed on? Well, this is where it's funny as well, because fiction gets away with telling the absolute truth because everyone thinks it's fiction, and news gets away with telling an absolute lie because everyone thinks it's the truth. And the update on Sherlock isn't a bad watch. It gets away with it, but it's telling a lot of truths. Anyway, I'm going to do 6 characters, and that was the detective was one of them. There was a few others, right? We'll go into another song. We only one at a time, really. Otherwise, you're going to get lost. Anyway, what I'm going to do now, right? Because it kind of the only relationship between this song and it's called Red Square, right? And which is a reference to Red Square in Moscow. It is a reference because it comes with a video, but I hadn't got the Anyway, it's called Red Square, right? And it was written. The only relationship is that it was all around the same time when Cooper's Hill Lane, right? Cooper's Lane, running up to the top of reminded me of Cooper's Detective Sergeant Cooper and Marty trilogy, which I thought was quite appropriate. So running me because of the attraction, the attention, it caught at the time. But it was written around the same time. And there is a Russian connection because, well, there always is, especially Red Square. I mean, there's been some classic photos. Let's just do this. I'm going to do half of it, right? Because it's quite long and I'll never finish it. Just to give you kind of taste there. were cheering when it's sweet. Naked from the haze to the toasty. Sussing a white butterfly that flies like the red dragonfly. Down in the meadow near where Kipling said so what say the reeds June 2013, 6 months after you could see an calypso of hallucinating nation. She's flying on the last favorable platform. She hasn't got a fucking naked from the head to the toe, save a cowboy behind Kalashnikov strapped to her so say away a butterfly that flies like the red dragonfly. Down in the meadow, and near where two white swans impersonate the Ku Klux Klan when they're feeding off the reeds. And that's about half of it. It's a rough, kind of rough that. But anyway, that's the way that one goes, and that's called Red Square. And I've got a video with it as well. Absolutely, tight as a button. In the inside, in up there, just waiting for a crew. Which is like, it's interesting that you see, that's the whole point was that because it ties in with this little ramble, which is, I told you right at the beginning, you're gonna lose it. That's fine. You're meant to. You'll completely lose it, because that's what happens. And the best losses, the best losses, right, are those that, well, you gotta wait for the best ones. You really have gotta wait, and it's like that is the, if you Crowley said, don't go looking. When the spirit arrives, it'll find you, and when the time comes, it'll find you. I really could go on for a long time, but I'm gonna come back on that because there's quite a lot more going on that one. And again we come back to symbology, and it's like it's one of the things that manly people said. The day that people understand what symbology is the day the world will lift the great veil off its front. And I keep talking about the subconscious, and I will do, because that's where I come from. It's my story, and so what I'm saying is, if you're kind of on the right path, synchronicities will happen, and when you start really noticing them, is exactly when you'll start knowing that a few things are lifted off the ground in terms of what you're missing. And uh, well, sun's nearly gone down. I've gone on for a bit long. Uh, I'll be back with a lot more. And this is time, right? It's another thing. You gotta get kind of used to about me is time. It doesn't exist. Like the media, right, want the soundbite, and unless it fits into the formula, it's not gonna work, right? That's how the media works, and it's like what I'm talking about is free from all that. There's no formula as such. The formula is not a formula. The formula is not a formula. It's like the nearest investors keep thinking the furthest invest thinking went, in broadcasting in 100 years of fucking mostly nothing. Was with a program called After Dark, which was went on. It was kind of born on Channel 4 when Channel 4 was radical. I mean, when it opened up, Channel 4 was the most radical fucking thing ever for television. Not because it was free from commercials and everything. They did what the fuck they liked. The first year or two, it was a revolution in waiting. And After Dark, the conversation program that came up towards the end of that time, started there, right in the northeast, and I lived there. The funny thing about life is the things you like are right around the corner. Much closer than you think they are. And it's just coincidence as to whether or not you connect with it at the time. And splash because like Jules Holland then gets 40 years of music on BBC Two, which I think it's finished now. I don't know. I'm not watching BBC anymore on that level. But the music was there, right? He was kind of every week, and that came from Channel 4 up in the northeast with um, Jules Holland and what's her name? I can't remember. Um, I'm going to get lost on that one. That's another story. Just and that's the nature of the moment. But you kind of got to get into the moment uh, by uh, by the problem moment by using well you got to have choices, right? You got to make your choices. I'm going to start because I'm down the rabbit hole, and I kind of like that under underworld, right?